It is the 10th of, beg your pardon. Wow, not a good way to start the show, isn't it? It is the 10th of March, 2026, Tuesday. You are watching Look Up TV. This is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kianga. Thank you very much for choosing to begin your day with us right here at Look Up TV. We are online at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kianga Simba. The hashtag is the Morning Drift. Our WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen. Talk to us. Where are you? I'm meant to understand some parts of the city again received a lot of rainfall yesterday. Did it rain in your estate? How is it looking? Talk to us. Where you're watching us from across the country. Also talk to us and tell us how you're walking up, whether indeed you're still receiving this rainfall. The Met Department says that this will continue into some time next week. So you don't know exactly then how it is supposed to be across the roads. And I do hope that everything that you're doing today becomes successful as you go through the challenges of the blessings of the weather. You know what they say? It comes with blessings. It comes in different ways as well. Good. So this morning, there's just a lot that we're going to look at. But most importantly, we're going to settle into the events that followed the digital center inclusion opening in a Siaya County, where James Orengo, the governor, complained that the president's frontman had arrested some of his staff members who were purportedly arranging to go heckle the president during that particular ceremony. James Orengo came in and said that he doesn't like it. It goes against the Constitution of Kenya under the right of assembly and speech, and he wants answers this morning. And I will quote, he said that this outrageous conduct on the part of the police has no place in a constitutional democracy. I demand the immediate release. That is one James Orengo speaking about this particular issue. Now, the president's men, as usual, have gone online to talk about this particular issue. We do have one, Kileleshwa MCA, who's saying that they also had intel that the Siaya County governor had arranged with his staff to come in and disrupt that sitting for the president. And that's why there were those arrests that were made, allegedly. Now, we haven't spoken or been told on exactly who was arrested, but James Orengo is saying his staff members and part of the security detail were arrested before the president visited Siaya County. Now, a lot of things have been happening across the country. It's not the very first time that we see the president get heckled, but does it go to the point of arresting members of the public so that you are not heckled? This morning, we asked the question, is it ever illegal to heckle the president? That is a question that we're going to put across to you. You can also be a part of that question at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms at Look Up TV. Talk to us as well. We shall be talking back to you. I'll be inviting the guests who are joining us in the studio this morning so that we can look into this particular issue. It's not only James Orengo's complaining. We do have the likes of Edwin Sifuna, the likes of Brigadier Gachagua, who've always cautioned the government against tear-gassing their debates and meetings across the country. The question that we're asking this morning, if the police are getting used to disperse these crowds that are speaking against the president or that are not government crowds, is it ever illegal to heckle the president? Before we begin, Kimani Ichung'wah, at the point where the president had visited Kiambu County at Alliance High School to celebrate the 100 years of existence, Kimani Ichung'wah on the sideline said is noted that every time the president goes to Kiambu County, he gets heckled. On the sidelines of that conversation, Kimani Ichung'wah did say he's going to work very hard to make sure that every time the president is in that county, he never gets heckled. talk to us again at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. Let's see exactly what your dailies are looking like this morning. As usual, we are going to start with the Daily Nation this morning. It's got a lot for you this morning. It's talking about 50 billion SHA rip-off. It's not, I mean, every time we talk about SHA, there's something going on and it's always a scandal. This is what it says. Rogue hospitals claimed doctors conducted open heart surgery at the same patient 4 times in one day. Others reported one mother had delivered 10 babies on different dates within the same year. Such fake claims were filed multiple times. In total, 50 billion shillings in suspicious payments in 1 year have been exposed by the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu following scrutiny of the Social Health Insurance Fund, which is run by the Social Health Authority, which is SHA. I mean, that's how it is. So if you look at this breakdown that the Daily Nation is giving you here this morning, they're talking about 26.8 billion payments for claims not backed by records to prove authenticity. And this is pretty much breaking the law because you have to back up your claims with records. So if this money was paid without records, that is downright corruption right there. 7.3 billion shillings wired to hospitals for services not authorized under SHIV. 7.3 billion, 3.3 billion amount missing from the 7.3 billion transferred from SHIV to SHA. 1.4 billion overpayments due to consolidation of service codes. This is not a good reading for SHA. No good. 50 billion just gone like that. And this is just 1 year into existence. Remember, we're also talking about, was it last month, we're talking about 11 billion that is missing, not known why it is. Now, the general outlook is that 50 billion now is the total amount of money that has been misappropriated or in one way or another missing from SHA. Is it time for us to call for somebody to resign as a country? We can't be treated every time with these headlines. How it goes, just for you. Read that story on page 7. There's a story here where we're putting our faces to the Kenyans that we've lost in the country, left to die in sudden downpour from hell. We have names here of Alex Kavila, Suleimani Eno, Philip Omondi, Nicholas Chalo, Paul Juma. I mean, when you put faces to these names that we're seeing on the news, then that's when you do know that families are crying of the faces and individuals they've lost. If you look at this story here, it's talking about how Alex Kavila, 39-year-old father of 3, who worked as a painter at Grogon area in downtown Nairobi, like many others who were caught up in that last week's downpour on Friday. The story has been covered on page 2 and 3. There's a story here on our NTSA now as already installed the cameras that are going to institute instant fines. Here is all that you need to know. That story has been covered on page 8. By the way, if you're driving your car this morning, you have to know where these cameras are and the speed limits that you have to do across the major highways within the city. Some of them have been installed along Thika Road, the southern bypass, the northern bypass, Mombasa Road, and also the expressway. Apparently, the top speed that you're supposed to do along the expressway is 80 kilometers per hour. Yep, 80 kilometers per hour. The fastest is Thika Road, 110 kph. You go beyond that, you don't know what's going to happen. Some of Kenyans, by the way, have received those instant fines. I saw somebody complaining yesterday that had been asked to pay 10,000 shillings because he was driving 20 kilometers per hour off the speed limit. If you drive 5 kph above the speed limit, you're going to get a warning. If you drive 10 kph above the speed limit, then the instant fines begin. And it's good for you to be educated on what those instant fines are going to look like. This is in a bid by the president and the judiciary in the country to stamp out corruption from the roads. That's what they're saying, to remove the police from where they're necessarily not needed. over to the Standard this morning. Let's also see exactly what has been covered on the Standard. Here it is, the problem as the city flood death toll nears 30, which is the largest share of more than 50 fatalities nationwide. As it is now, Nairobi is contributing more than 70% of the fatalities across the country. Urban development experts say Nairobi's recurring disaster is driven less by extreme weather than by failed leadership at City Hall. Governor Johnson Sakaja has sought to distance himself from the crisis, blaming factors beyond the county government's control. But experts point instead to weak planning, poor enforcement of development rules, and corruption brought about by policy dereliction rather than nature. And that word is dereliction. I'm not walking up good this morning. Here it is, 28 confirmed deaths in Nairobi as of Sunday evening, 30 plus people rescued alive, 700 plus homes and structures damaged or destroyed, 800 households displaced, and 70 plus vehicles that have been damaged in this flood. Look at that picture in the background right there from the Nairobi CBD, where vehicles have been submerged, completely totaled in that disaster. Story has been covered on page 6 and 7 of the Standard. And by the way, this story continues also to draw more headlines because the Met Department also says the rains are not done, and we do expect for the next couple of days that the city is still going to continue receiving this rainfall. Is it going to be more fatalities? As Sakaja says, some of these things are beyond the county government. We'll wait and see exactly how it is. Some of these stories, by the way, have been covered. Actually, majority of them are being covered online at Lookup TV across all our social media platforms. Once you're there, talk to us. A message, a like, a subscription is all that we ask of you this morning. Fantastic. On that note, then, let's cross over and see what you are waking up to this morning in terms of your trends. There's so much that is going on online, what Kenyans are talking about this morning. I will begin with news. By the way, Uhuru Market along Jogoo Road was demolished. Looks as if the government is cleaning our roads across the country. Now, on Sunday night, that happens on Sunday night, by the way. People went to sleep. The same way it happened along Thika Road, Githurai. People went to sleep. They woke up the next morning. All those structures along Jogoo Road had been flattened. And what Kenha is saying is that that part of the market is supposed to be used for road expansion. You can see those pictures right there of the traders who are counting their losses as they come to terms with what has really happened along the market. Let's just watch this tiny clip and then see some of the reactions that we have from Kenyans.
Ukiukieka bando zikafinya kila tunapo tumeandikwa wote on your mind zikafinya kwa sababu kwa live ile haikuja live sawa twende basi anapeleka reke na basi ya hala inaona citizen ono inaona citizen alikuwa park
This is Ali Nul Mohammed who's saying, I've seen photos of traders at Uhuru Market along Jogoro trying to save whatever was left after the government demolished their structures last night. In 2022, Sakaja and Ruto promised no one will be forcefully evicted without a notice and a settlement plan. He's asking this morning, what happened? All right, Wanjiru who's saying, siasa za bottom up. Nairobi is being prepared to be city like Cape Town. Me and you will be living in Kiambu, Kajiado or Machakos ama kwa affordable houses. The new world order is working in full force. All right. Good. Alan was saying, by the end of this month, all those buildings around the market will be gone. Cases here doesn't have the power to stop what is happening there because it is a road construction site. That's what Kenyans are talking about this morning on this particular one. All right, let's look at the devastating effects of rainfall as well. But there's a sidewalk. I think it's in some part of Kilimani. We don't know exactly what's going on. Was the sidewalk completely blocked with a barbed wire? Let's take a look at this clip and then we come back and talk about it. What's going on in this particular area? All right, there's random word this morning who's saying ni kama wanataka courage bait watu. All right, huyu jamaa hata tuzoea hivi, they're talking about Sakaja this morning. Kenya tuko mbaya. Wow, I hate older people, man. Older people? What have they done? Is it older people put barbed wire on the sidewalk? I don't think so. Or you're talking to Sakaja, yeah? All right, people can follow simple common sense instruction. Do not use this path of the road. I think that's exactly what it meant. My question here, the person who gave the orders to fence to be put on top, if he said that day alifanya kazi safi, then went back to his family satisfied with a good job done. Responsibility is the question. Good. We're going to leave that and move to some other thing this morning. And this is... was a seed distribution exercise. I think this video comes from Busia County, where Governor Paul Otuoma is seen physically assaulting a man who went to ask for that seed. Let's watch this clip, and then you and I can come back and talk about it and tell me exactly what's going on here. Wanagavana, hata kama unataka kukuza mtu kwa line, mateke ni ya nini and cameras are recording. Yeah, it's in broad daylight. Yeah? But you can see, but probably there was a problem here. This guy decided to cut the line and I think there were two lines here. Kuna line ya mama, kuna lines ya baba. And this guy just decided that he was going to come in and cut in on this line. And the governor was having none of it, all right? That got Kenyans talking, all right? Eric Mukunza was saying, rural Kenya is the weakest link in our struggle for a just and moral government. Kwanza huko Western. Salala. There is a reason Farouk is camped. They are all here kama kuku ya Christmas. Watu ni wengi ndio, lakini wacha tu nisiongee. Yeah, usiongee. Eric Mukunza. All right? Good. Eric was saying this morning as well, na nakata line kwa nini? The response wasn't good, but unaona watu wamepanga line, unajiona kukata line kwa nini? All right? Meaning that handouts empowerment should only be given to women. Wanaume Mukunje Shati. This is Karabati this morning. There are some men that are baba na mama of their homes. Why kick him without any explanation? This is Caroline Okango this morning, also wondering. We also wonder the same thing with you, Caroline. All right. Now, I would not talk about the next clip. In fact, if my director can hear me, the clip about power. That's how I want us to end our review this morning. I would like us to jump into the next clip, which is by Abdul Swamad. Right? What we do know is that Eric One Sifuna has come in and said that they will not talk about anything broad-based government because the 3rd March date expired. What we do know is that he's received that fire from UDM with everybody telling them that they need to step out. Do we have that clip ready, or do we need to end it at Dr. Oburu? Because he's talking about why everybody needs power. Okay, we don't have it? All right, we can end it here then by checking out that clip from Dr. Oburu when he was saying everybody needs power. Can you play it to us this morning so we have a look at it?
Power, anataka power. Ruto anataka power. Wanga anataka power. Power, Kalasi Kalano anataka power. Kila mtu hata Ruto huyu anataka power. Ruto anataka power. Wanga anataka power. Ukesala anataka power. Anataka power. Kalasi Kalano anataka power.
Katika ukumbi wa KICC, Raila Amolo Odinga pamoja na William Samoei Ruto waliweka na wakasaini mkataba kuhusiana na mambo ya 10-point agenda katika hii broad based. Nisikizeni kwa makini, tuambianeni ukweli, kwa sababu naona wengine wana ufidhuli wa mdomo kuzungumza na kila kitu la kwanza la pili, sijui baba aliniambia hivi, huyu mwingine anasema hivi, mwingine anasema hivi. Sasa nisikizeni, wakati tulipokuwa tunaandika hii mkataba tulikuwa katika ofisi ya Sifuna. Gladys Wanga, Sifuna, Abdulswamad Sharif Nasir, baba anatuambia pandeni juu kwa ofisi ya Sifuna mkamalize hiyo document. Sasa mimi nauliza swali moja, kwa sababu ni mambo mingi ambayo kwamba tuliyaweka. Baada ya kuwekwa ile sahihi, sisi kama ODM tukachagua kamati ya kuangalia hii 10-point agenda itaenda namna gani. Kamati yenyewe mwenyekiti wake yule ambaye kwamba alichaguliwa na Raila Amolo Odinga, Agnes Zani, mwanamke wa hapa.
All right. That is Abdul Swamad right there talking about what Raila Amolo Odinga had sort of envisioned about that 10-point agenda and whomever he appointed to that particular committee. Now, if you listen to what Sifuna is saying, he's saying that that document expired a long time ago. So it's null and void. Nobody should be talking about it. And that's how the likes of Oburu Odinga and Abdul Swamad have come in to correct him this morning, telling him, that's according to you. What we do know is that that document is still valid, and we're going to look into it. So a couple of two comments here from Kenyans are watching. Geoffrey Biro, who's saying, stop taking us in circles, we are not fools. When was the expiry of that document? Was it March 7th, 2026, right? If that was the expiry date, then what are you doing with Ruto? Since nothing has been done since they signed that document, no implementation totally. All right, John Chavez was saying, in the morning they say the 10-point agenda doesn't expire. In the evening, some people say they're going to amend the document and extend their stay in government. It doesn't expire. Why amend? all right? Lastly then, all right, this is Endgima Alan Karima this morning. Alan, how are you doing, sir? He said you have said it contains 10 points, but from your statement you have only about one agenda. Where are the remaining 9? Mustupime, all right? Omosh, who's saying stop playing with the ODM party as a rural toy. You have also been compromised to follow the unashamed cartels like Jeanette and Wanga. You guys are spoiling, finishing and killing this our beloved party for your own satisfaction of greed. All right? R.I.P. Baba. We end it like that this morning. That's what majority of Kenyans are talking about. We're not going to talk about football, guys. It doesn't make sense for us to wake up in the morning and talk about what happened last night in football. We do know Arsenal and Man United and the rest of it. We do know exactly the way it has gone. If you've not checked the draw for the FA Cup, that's what majority of Kenyans are also talking about here this morning. But then our guests are already in the studio this morning. What we're going to weigh in is on the remarks and the allegations of one James Orengo, where he has revealed that his staff were arrested when the president visited Siaya County to open that digital inclusion center in Siaya County. He called on the government to stop arresting his staff and gone on to say it contradicted the Constitution of Kenya under the right of assembly and speech. What we do know is that both camps have spoken. And what we do know from the government side, for those who've spoken, they've already said they had intel that one James Orengo was planning to disrupt that sitting for the president. It's not only James Orengo who's been speaking against the government and President Ruto on the handling of public rallies in the country. Former Vice President Rigathi Gachagua has hit him left, right and center, always for tear-gassing him every time he has a public rally and speaks against him. Edwin Sifuna has also hit on the government to stop disrupting peaceful rallies across the country. The question that we're asking this morning then, is it ever illegal to heckle one president, Dr. William Ruto? Kimani Ichung'wah has also said that he's going to make sure that every time the president is in Kiambu County, he never gets heckled. Is he confirming that it's illegal to heckle the president? Once we come right here on the Morning Drift, I'll be introducing to you one Ken Babu, the senator, Nairobi 2027, will be telling us why his title is officially changed this year. And we do also have the UDA lobby group's chair across the country, one Mr. Chiyuka Douglas. Once we come back right here on the Morning Drift, talk to us and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kinage Simba once we come back.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Let's talk about it then. We've been talking about it since yesterday. I told you we're going to have this conversation, and the gentleman already in the studio this morning then. Let's table that conversation. Question I'm asking this morning, is it illegal to heckle the president? Looks as if we moved from tear gassing events that are not government events to now arrests, if anything, by the allegations from one James Orengo, Siaya senator. Anything to go by. Now, what we do know, the governor went online, and I'll be reading for you the entire tweet as it got on, and accused the government of arresting his staff members and even some of his security detail upon the visit of the president in Siaya County during the opening of that Digital Inclusion Center. He comes in and says this regional's conduct on the part of the police has no place in a constitutional democracy. Helping us then to talk about it this morning, we do have one Shiyuka Douglas. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, viewers. Thank you so much.
Yes, you good?
Thank you for having me.
Happy to see you. Also joining us this morning, we do have Ken Babu, Nairobi Senator. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well, bro. And thank you for having me here. You mentioned that we've not met since the beginning of this year.
Yes, we haven't, man.
Happy New Year, bro.
To you too, man.
Happy New Year, my brother. And I believe that we are going to walk this journey and, of course, transform not only the face of Nairobi, but Kenya at large.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we start with the elephant in the room? Because even Shiyuka is was a bit surprised by the change in your title. I mean, Ken, I've always known you as a youth senator. It's changed. It's now Nairobi Senator 2027. Can you launch your campaign officially on Look Up TV? It will be a pleasure, man.
Well, thank you so much. Like you've mentioned, I've served as the youth senator of Nairobi since 2021.
Yes.
Up to now, I'm still the youth senator of Nairobi County. But progressively, of course, with the realities of politics and leadership in Kenya right now, we have to adjust and absorb into the realities of lives. And I want to say that Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, but unfortunately we are facing different issues as far as floods, unemployment, insecurities, and mismanagement of public funds are concerned. And I'm not running just because I want to capture power, but I'm running to offer alternative to the Nairobians as far as accountability is concerned, policy reforms, and of course be part of the conversation and part of the team and the generation that will transform the face of this county to what has been envisioned over time. I'm also running to encourage more young people to get themselves off the political space of being used as spectators, goons, and just fans, and of course cheerleaders. We have the capacity to be on the table. We have the capacity to sit there and offer policy reforms. We have the capacity to also consult and, of course, offer alternatives to the leadership that is there today. I want to put on record that I'm not running to compete with specific people. I'm running to offer myself to Nairobians to make a decisions between myself and any other person who will also be running.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You know the next question that I'm asking. I mean, I've known you. You're under the United Opposition. Which party are you running under?
It's also asking the same.
Just ask that question. It has to come clear and let us know.
Say that, in as much as party politics is concerned, it's a conversation that we will have
Yes.
over time.
Yes.
But I want to be clear on one thing. The politics of Kenya must transcend from sloganeering, personality politics to agenda-based politics, where Kenyans will be given an opportunity to look into the candidates, vet the candidates, and make a decision. So that when the candidates come with a party, the party is not the main thing. You had already decided that we are going to have this kind of a leader. So then party becomes an added advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it good for me to make some conclusion this morning out of some?
Make conclusions, but you can make speculations.
Can I make a speculation?
You are free.
I've seen you in the campaign trails, and I know the party that you've been campaigning for.
And proceed and make speculations.
I think just to have a bite of
non-government party.
Of course, no. We do
just
not.
to have a bite, just to have a bite of what my friend is. Just congratulations for coming out bold and declaring your intention to run for the seat. But I want to challenge you, because any leadership position requires that you give guidance to your people and to your followers. I put it to you that you cannot declare to run for senatorial position without guiding your members on which political party, so that they are well guided.
I will not speculate. I also leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there as well.
Your followers are well guided.
Yeah.
I agree with what my brother is saying.
Yes.
But you and I know that I've been affiliated with the opposition over time. And the opposition has got many parties. And we all know the parties that can do well in Nairobi.
That's it.
And when it comes to Nairobi politics, we know the direction we will take. But until then, we want to agree, we should all agree that politics must change from personality politics to ideological politics.
Pretty much.
Personality politics is what has led us to the flooding that we are having right now. Personality politics is what has led us to the demolition that we just walk up to along Jogo Road, Uhuru Market. Unfortunately, Governor Sakaja and Uhuru and President Ruto are on record in 2022 while campaigning, promising that there shall be no such demolitions, promising that there shall be no such harassment.
Yes.
Unfortunately, contrary to what they said and promised, Kenyans, particularly Nairobians, woke up to unfortunate events where their sources of livelihoods, sources of income were brought down without proper notice and without proper communication and without any alternative. So it's something that we have to condemn strongly, and we have to call Sakaja on, to be on record. If he's claiming that he gave them notices, then let him publish the notice. Let Kenyans see the notice. If he's claiming that he offered alternatives, let those alternatives be made public, so that those traders who are there, who up to now are not sure where they're going to get what to put on the table, should have alternative to what to where they are going to source their income from. And I want to also make it on record that those are low-level income earners, and with those tolls being brought down, I'm very certain that most of them are going to start having issues with their landlords. They are going to start having issues with school fees. They will have issues with even medication and everything. So Governor Johnson Sakaja has a responsibility to answer to all Nairobians. Why did he have to bring down the markets?
Yes.
And why did the action happen in the middle of the night?
Pretty much. Yeah. Whew, gentlemen, we have a big topic this morning. Then let's jump into it. I'm going to read a tweet by James Orengo yesterday in the evening, and this is what he said. Predictably, my staff who were arrested yesterday have been released without charge after 7 p.m. I thank my colleagues for their courage, and resilience in the face of intimidation and harassment. Goes on to say, a luta continua. Now, let me go back to 2 days ago. That was on Sunday when he came and said, well, my staff members have been arrested. Now he comes and says this evening, several members of my staff have been arbitrarily arrested and detained in Siaya and Nairobi in connection with the presidential visit to Siaya tomorrow. This egregious conduct on the part of the police has no place in a constitutional democracy. I demand their immediate release. Good. So you would think that this really isn't so much in as much as this is concerned. But then members of the UDA started responding. Kileleshwa MCA comes in and says, and I'm going to read, you know why they were arrested, because there was intel that you were planning to disrupt the presidential function in Siaya County. Say the truth. I'll be reading some of the responses from leaders also allied to the government side. Shuka, I would like to begin with you, which is what we're asking this morning. Is it ever illegal to heckle the president? Is it ever illegal for you and I to say that the president is going to visit Siaya County? So let's put ourselves together for the sole purpose of going to heckle the president. I thought that is provided for under the Kenyan Constitution, under my right for assembly and speech.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simba, for giving this opportunity to weigh on this issue. I want to start by saying that every Kenyan has a right in the Constitution to do whatever it requires him or her to do.
Yes.
And the president, including the president of the Republic of Kenya. But when you are right, in the process of exercising your right, you infringe on the right of another person, then that stops from being a right to an illegality.
Yes.
So if the president, or not as this, if the government, acting from the intel it had, that James Orengo was planning to disrupt the organized meeting of his and the president, I think the president and the government was right to hold them accountable and to arrest them. Because even just a normal person, even an unorganized meeting, nobody has a right to come and disrupt an organized meeting. So if the government had that intel, I think it was in the right of discharging the duties of it has to stop those people from executing that plan of disrupting the president's meeting.
That's it.
I think it was right.
Yes.
For them, if they had the intel.
Yes.
I think they were right to stop them from doing that.
Because
they have that capacity.
Yes.
They have the capacity of getting the intel.
That's it. And I'll be coming to you. I'll give you the same time that I'm going to give Shuka this morning to respond to this as well. I'm looking at Article 33 of the 2010 Kenyan Constitution. It's quite clear on what infringing somebody's right would be as well. That it doesn't envision that a public gathering would be infringed by heckling or disruption. And this is what it says. It does not, this right of freedom of speech, association, does not extend to propaganda for war, incitement to violence, hate speech, or advocacy of hatred. Disruption isn't incitement for war, isn't hate speech, isn't advocacy of hatred. Heckling is just making noise at a public gathering. The staff that were arrested have been released, were released yesterday because they were found not culpable. Because if you arrest the staff, you need to provide that evidence. Shuka, why have they been released without getting charged, if indeed there was evidence and intel that was collected?
You know, Mr. Simba, you do not know the kind of intelligence information the government had against these people. So, in performing the duty to protect the right of other people, and if they had the sufficient information that these people were planning not only to heckle the president, but also to destroy property and have other people, I think it was right for them to arrest these people so that they can stop that thing from happening, other than letting them go to the meeting, disrupt the meeting, destroy property, harm other people, and then get arrested.
Yes.
So I think the government was right to stop them from doing that, from doing what they were supposed to do, having had the intelligence. So to me, I think that was right.
Pretty much, I'll be coming to you on that, because the Kenyan Constitution is also clear that Shuka can't come arrest you and then have you released. In fact, you've broken the law if you do that, because if you're coming with the police to arrest me, it means that the next step is reading my charges to me. At the point of getting arrested, you are told, Shiuka Douglas, all right, you're being arrested because of this, and this. You have a right to a lawyer. Anything you say after this and before this will be used to you in a court of law. That didn't happen. Yes.
If they feel offended,
yes,
I think they have a right to take action according to the law.
That's it.
Yes.
I'll be coming to you on that so we can see exactly what it states. Ken Babu, is it illegal to heckle the president in the country?
Simba, Article 33 of the Kenyan Constitution 2010 clearly protects the freedom of expression.
Yes.
And it gives every Kenyan, every person in Kenya the right to express themselves, share ideas, and access information. Heckling the president is part of the expression. It is part of the freedom of expression. You have the freedom to disagree and agree with the president. Look at that. Unfortunately, we are seeing this arbitrary arrests from the president, Mr. William Ruto, because of very simple reasons. Number one, if you date back to the time that we are, when the country was jostling for 2010 constitution, Mr. William Ruto, then MP for Eldoret North, is on record for not supporting this constitution. He opposed this constitution fiercely, and that's why he has, over time, violated this constitution from Article 1 to the final article, from Section 1 to the final section. He has violated this constitution back to back, because this is something he never believed in from the onset. That's why he can easily wake up and order an arrest of specific individuals, imagining that these people are going to interfere with his meetings. If the president had issues with these guys, and you've mentioned it clearly, and they did their investigations and they found these guys were planning to do something, they ought to have taken them to court of law and charged with the intent. You can be charged for having planned something, or you can be charged for thinking the thought of it.
Yes.
Get that? The intention.
Yes. That's it.
If these guys, if they are saying that these fellows were planning to, to attack or disrupt the president's meeting, and they have had evidence, then these guys should have been in court, charged, and judgment released, either to be jailed or something. But because they were released immediately after the president left Siaya, get that? Then it means it is in black and white that we are going back to the dark days of Kanu, where the president would just make a call and you are arrested, where the president or the people around president will just decide who to be arrested, when, where, and how. You get that? So then we have to, as Kenyans, and I want to urge my brother here, that governments have a tendency of eating their own people. James Orengo, who is now being attacked and his aides are being arrested, left, right, was part of this broad base before Raila died.
Yes.
But because of difference in ideological thinking and the direction in which the country should go, is now on the chopping table, being chopped. And tomorrow, maybe my brother here will disagree with the party that is in right now, and will think otherwise. And he'll be a culprit, he'll be a victim of the same things he's sitting here and defending.
That's it.
So we have to work and engage in line with the Constitution. Article 33 is very clear. Freedom of expression must not be infringed. It must not be suppressed. Get me? If people in Siaya feels like whatever the president is doing is not enough and they disagree with him, that is their right. If people in Mount Kenya, Northeastern, Eastern, feels like whatever Kenya Kwanza regime is delivering is not sufficient, it is within their rights to disagree with the president and tell him, Your Excellency, this and this and this is not going on well. And that's why we are saying one term. But that does not amount to arbitrary arrests and disappearance. And these are part of the reasons why the young people in 2024 took to the streets. And these are the reasons why this country is still hungry. And I want to finish by saying this. The president must read the mood of the country. The president must read the mood of the country. And is a consumer of raw intelligence. He consumes raw intelligence every morning and every evening before he sleeps. He must read the mood of the country. And the mood of the country, all the way from northeastern to the shores of Lake Victoria, are saying one term. The mood of the country, all the way from Mombasa down to Busia, all the way from Sekuru to the hills of Mount Kenya, the mood is saying one term.
Yes.
So the president then must read the mood, must understand the mood, and must act accordingly to avoid making Kenyans more angry than they are already.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mr. Simba.
Yes.
I will not allow my friend here to go with his allegation that the mood in the country is one term. I'll tell you with facts that the mood in the country is two term. And I'm saying that, and I want to challenge him, because you cannot just say something without giving facts. I want to challenge him that we have had by-elections, and we can use by-elections to know the mood of the country. And I'm saying we had four by-elections, and UDA party won all of them. That shows you, and this by-election was not being held in one region. It was being held in all the regions of the country. And UDA party won with a landslide. So for him to say that the mood of the country is one term, I'm challenging him and telling him, no, the mood of the country is two term. And His Excellency, the Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is going to have his second term comfortably. And we are working for that landslide win.
Yes.
So the mood in the country at the moment, I'm challenging him with the fact that it is not one term, it is two term.
That's it.
Yeah.
Simba, just before you bring in the next question, let me put on record, because Kenyans are watching. And over time, we've tried to shift the conversation to one term and two term without laying bare facts on the ground.
Yes.
Simba, walk into KNH and observe the situation. Go to third floor and watch the situation. You will tell me if those people, if they were given opportunity to ask for anything, they will not even think of President William Ruto being in office. Not even 2027, even now. Because majority of them are nearing their final moments. Not because they are suffering so much, but because they cannot raise that little coin to take them to the theater so that whatever is troubling them can be sorted out. Simba, the mood of the country is not tested by elections. If by elections were testing the mood of the country, then things would be different. The mood of the country is tested by the realities of economics, the realities of health situations, and the realities of education sector. And I want to lay bare facts on this platform.
Yes.
Number one, look at the education sector. It has been brought down to the knees. Recently, we saw capitation, very minimal allocation to the capitation, in a state where 11 billion shillings disappears, that is meant for health, disappears, and the cabinet sector responsible is not brought to account. And the cabinet sector responsible comes on board and says that what should I do now that money has disappeared? Like he's also surprised, what should I do? Simba, look at our health sector as of today. And remember, the 11 billion shillings that disappeared is not just money. These are lives of men and women, lives of young people, toddlers, children who are dying in different health sectors because the system is not functional. Because SHA has lost money. Because somebody's cancer patients cannot get chemotherapy and the medication they should get, because the money that was meant for that service is sitting in somebody's pocket. What we are saying is, if that 11 billion was to be invested in constructions of level 4 hospital, Simba, we could construct up to 20 level 4 hospitals, fully furnished. If that money was invested in putting up cancer screening centers in this country, we would have up to 55 centers. And remember, the unfortunate part of it, in the entire country, we only have 4 screening centers. And out of the 4, 3 are privately owned. It's only one that is government owned. And all the 4 screening centers, all the way from Timbuktu, all the way from Busia, Northeastern, Mount Kenya, Lakeside, all the 4 screening centers are seated in Nairobi County. Then it means if somebody was to undergo screening and they live in Busia, they have to first figure out how will they get themselves in Nairobi. Stress number 1. Number 2, they must figure out how they're going to stay in Nairobi as they procure and process the screening. So when we are talking about corruption and the loss of billions in these sectors and saying one term, we are looking at factual things that affect the common mwananchi. Let me highlight something briefly as I finish on the issue of employment. Recently, we saw the president walking around left, right, issuing Nyota funds. Well, at that time, it was good. But now, today, days later, Simba mentioned to me, give me facts, and my brother here being a broad-based affiliate and UDA by extension, show us how many young people received 22,000 and today they are doing something meaningful with their lives out of that money. Why am I saying this? There is a tax policy that was put in place which dictates that you cannot file nil returns. Simba, the president and the Kenya Kwanza regime were issuing this 22,000 money to these young people to clobber them as employed or income generators group, so that these young people cannot file nil returns. And it is through that process that they are going to coerce this generation and push them into depression when KRA now goes for them.
That's it.
Let me just finish, my brother. You will get your time. Yes. You will get your time. I'm landing.
Yes.
I'm landing.
Yes, yes.
You know, you see, this is the problem with the people in government.
No.
They have the know-it-all syndrome.
Not know-it-all. I've given you time.
Let me finish.
I want to have a right of reply.
Let me finish. You have the right of reply.
Right of reply.
Let me finish. Reasons why Kenyans are, why I'm saying the mood is one term. We are looking at the basics. Education is not as per the common mwananchi. Today, children who can go to school and meet and move up to university from an average family are very minimal. If you have 4, you have to decide as a parent, we are going to educate 1 or to sacrifice the all 4. Look at the health system. It is not a going concern. Look at the security sector. Look at the employment sector. If you analyze all these 4 critical areas, I don't want to mention food because food now, we cannot even talk about it. If you analyze all those 4 areas, the mood of the country, my brother, the mood of this country today, in fact, if Kenyans had the powers, William Ruto ought to have left office now.
Good. And I know you're gonna rebuttal.
Just 1 minute.
And I know you're going to rebuttal that because I'm gonna give you just the same time that I've given Ken Babu. Just hold on to that thought right there. You're gonna start with it. Just before coming to the studio this morning, I spoke to a lawyer friend of mine, and I asked him one question. Can you tell me the criteria for arresting an individual in the country? And Omonde Collins, thank you very much for responding that early. And he said, Simba, the process for arresting any individual in the country is quite clear. Anybody who's coming to arrest you will come and read for you your charges. Simba, you're being arrested because of this, and this. They will then proceed to take you to a holding cell where you have a right to call your lawyer or your advocate in any way possible so that you can then get processed. After getting processed, you will either be released on a cash bail as you await your appearance in court, or you get processed immediately based on a judge's approval. Anybody who arrests you and releases you is breaking the law, and they are open for a big lawsuit. goes on to clear, Simba, in this country, we do what we want. And when the government decides to do that, it just tells you there's nothing you can do to them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simba. Just before I tackle your question, allow me to have a right of reply to what my brother has said.
That's it.
And I insist, because my brother is putting allegations without scientific backing. The issues he's raising, you need to back them with scientific figures, showing that this has been done like this and it's done like this. So the mood of the nation cannot be backed or cannot be proved by what my brother is trying to allege. Those are mere allegations. I am telling you that the mood of the nation can only be measured by the people on the ballot. Mm-hmm. And when the people vote for UDA on the ballot, they are showing an endorsement. That is a vote of confidence in the government. And if they vote UDA all over the country, that's a vote of confidence in the government. And if they have a vote of confidence in the government, what does that tell you? It tells you that the mood in the country is two-term. So for him to throw allegations without any backing is hogwash. And I think when you come here, come with figures and come with allegations you can prove. Because he's saying it's one term, I'm telling him no, it is two term. And I'm telling him that it is two term because it is the power of the people to exercise their endorsement through the ballot, nothing else. When people say in more than 5 constituencies and elected positions, they vote UDA, what does that say? Across the country, they are showing you that they have confidence in the leadership of His Excellency the President, they have confidence in the ruling party UDA, and they have confidence that his re-election is assured. So the mood of the country is not one term, the mood of the country is two term, and I'm saying that. Number 2, to come to your question.
That's it.
When somebody is arrested, when somebody is arrested, he has the right for a lawyer.
That's it.
And the people who are arrested in Uganda
yes,
have a right, if they feel that their rights were infringed arbitrarily by the government,
yes,
they have a right to go to court and file a suit. Just as simple as that.
That's it. But what the government is the one that needs to follow law. They were arrested by the government operatives. So if you are arrested by the government, you expect that the government knows exactly why they're arresting you. You can't, you're not going to trample on my right just because you can.
Mr. Simba,
yes.
Let me ask you a question.
That's it.
Because he said the president, the president,
that's it,
Dr. William Samuel Ruto, consumes raw intelligence. That is true. And we have got government agencies, DCI and NSIS. If they know, for example, somebody is coming here with a bomb to come and throw here to kill us, are you telling me that they should let that person come and throw the bomb here we get killed so that he can be arrested?
But
I think that has a mandate even to stop.
That's it.
Somebody who is going to commit a felony.
That's it.
Yes. And I think this is why the government arrested those people, because they had intelligence that they were planning to go and destroy property and maybe kill people. So they were arrested to stop them from going to.
The same question will be turned to UDA government this morning. That since we know that you're the government and you follow law, and we respect your intelligence. Even Ken Babu is telling us this morning, yeah, those are guys who receive intelligence every morning. They know exactly what's happening on the ground. And they can't arrest you if they are not sure that Shiuka and Simba are arranging something that is criminal, according to the Kenyan constitution. So why arrest Simba and Shiuka, who are criminals, and then release them a day later without taking them to court so they can go to prison, Shiuka? So why is the government letting criminals who are, number one, pushing hate speech, endangering lives, destroying of property, they're planning that, and then they let them go back to the community? Why couldn't they arrest them for good?
I think the people who are arrested have a right to come public and say, we are arrested because of ABCD. And this is what we underwent in the police cells. And if they feel that it was not justified, yes, that the arrests were arbitrarily done, I think they have a right to go to follow the procedure and go for recourse in court.
That's it.
Yes.
I'll be coming to you on that as well, because there's somebody who's responding to you this morning as well. Let me cross over to Ken Babu. Ken Babu, this is what Kimani Ichung'wah has said in the recent past, and that was actually last week when the president had gone, last Sunday actually, when the president visited Alliance High School to celebrate the 100 years of existence. And this is what he said. I have realized that every time you come to Kiambu County, Mr. President, you're heckled. He goes on to say, from today onwards, I'm going to make sure that that heckling would stop every time you visit the county. Why would he want to stop heckling of the president? I mean, that's within the rights of the people of Kiambu County. If they want to heckle the president, they can heckle the president.
And you see, that is why I'm saying that the president himself, and by extension the people around him, do not respect the constitution. They find this constitution like any other, they look at it like any other book that they would go in the bookshop and buy and just start read around and throw. As a legislator, Kimani Ichung'wah, I've got the understanding that you cannot just say that I'm going to stop heckling. Those are dissenting voices. And why are they heckling? They're not heckling because that is rude.
Yes.
Why didn't they heckle at him in 2022? They are heckling because they are pained. They are heckling because the government has not met their expectations. They are heckling because they are angry. They are heckling because they have relatives who are at the verge of dying, but the president is coming to give them more stories. They are heckling because they cannot access, their pensions, and the government is giving them stories. These people are heckling because they cannot put food on the table. And a hungry man is an angry man. Get that? So if the only way Kimani Ichung'wah can stop that heckling is by first ensuring that if a Kiambu resident goes to hospital, they get quality and timely medication, which is affordable. The only way Kimani will stop heckling is by ensuring that a Kiambu resident can feed his or her children without straining so much with the heavy taxation that has been put on them by Kasongo regime.
Yes.
The only way that Kimani Ichung'wah is going to stop that heckling is by ensuring that his government is working so hard to ensure that a Kiambu student can go to school and get quality and relevant education at an affordable rate that the parent can pay for. The only way that Kimani Ichung'wah will stop that heckling is by ensuring that he goes back to parliament and put up legislations that will ensure that people in Kiambu and Kenya at large can live conducively in an environment where they can do business without so much high taxation and policies that will not let them put something on the table.
Yes.
Until then, those people are going to heckle, and if they are not careful, one day they are going to beat that president and beat that Kimani Ichung'wah as well. Let me tell you, my brother, when people are tired, they will act. People are conservant when things are more or less making sense. But progressively, as the things change and times are changing and they get more difficult,
yes,
you metamorphosize. You change to fit into the situation.
That's it.
And with the way things are going, and the attitude that is being portrayed by Kenya Kwanza regime and the people around the president,
that's it,
this country is going to be very difficult,
yes,
for the regime to govern. Finally,
yes,
we saw the president in Siaya on top of his vehicle. And what he was saying, he was talking like he is campaigning. He was talking like he is not in the office. Like the fellow was talking about, mimi nitakuja kufanya ile barabara ya bridge ya Thogoe. I know that Goe bridge. I know because I happen to live in that area sometimes back. Nitaweka pesa, tukuje, tufanye hiyo barabara. Hii maneno ya vijana hapa, nitaweka mikakati, tukuje, tufanye kitu. The president must be reminded that he is the current holder of the presidential office. And he is serving his term. When he goes to Siaya, when he was campaigning in 2022, he had a manifesto. And the manifesto was not just carved for the people who voted for him. The manifesto was carved for the entire country. So whatever it is that he is doing for people in Eldoret and Rift should equally happen to people in Siaya and Mount Kenya.
Yes.
So that when he goes to Mount Kenya, he should not tell them what he wants to do for them. He should tell them that when we were campaigning in 2022, I promised 1, 2, 3, and I've done 1, 2. Hii ya tatu tuko kwa mpango tunaifanya. When he goes to Siaya, he should tell them that when we are campaigning and Siaya being an agricultural hub,
yes,
we have done this in the agricultural sector, and these are the progress we've made. But if you give us more time, by the time we are going to elections, we should have finished this one. So that the president should keep off speaking as somebody who is looking for the office while he is in the office.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Guess what? But, Shuka, guess what? But my director says we have to go for break now. But once we come back, by the way, it doesn't stop here, because Sifuna has been speaking about it. Rigathi Gachagua has been speaking about it. The likes of Babu have been speaking about it. And this is what Sifuna says: you cannot tear gas a democracy. We will continue speaking to Kenyans. This is when the peaceful demonstrations, both in Kakamega, and I don't know why you didn't attend, and Kitengela, were tear-gassed. Once we come back, we'll be asking, doesn't the government want gatherings that are against the order of the day? Once we come back right here at Look Up TV, talk to us across all your social media platforms. It is at Look Up TV. The hashtag is The Morning Drip. I'll be reading some of your comments and suggestions that are coming through to us right now. Good morning.
How easy is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you? How easy is it? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody is buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Welcome back. The question that we're asking this morning is whether it is indeed illegal to heckle the president. And Shuka and Ken Babu are in the studio this morning weighing in on this particular issue. We take you back a little bit. I know you're going to come back and talk about what Ken Babu spoke about when we went on break. But as you get ready to do that, we saw the events in Kitengela when Edwin Sifuna and Babu Wino decided that they're going to hold a Linda Wananchi campaign. Shuka, everything was peaceful. There was no destruction of property. There was no, I think there were no threats to life. There was nothing. Up until the speeches were done, that's when we saw police tear gas, that is, lobbed in that multitude of a crowd. We ended up losing a 28-year-old in those skirmishes. Edwin Sifuna comes back later and speaks to President Ruto directly. And then he tells him, and this is what he said, you cannot tear gas democracy. We will continue speaking to fellow Kenyans. Babu Wino comes in and says, freedom of speech is not a favor from the government. It's a right guaranteed by the Constitution. So stop attacking us. They were directly speaking to the president. Because in their understanding, it is the president who said that should happen. Make sure it doesn't happen. It doesn't stop there. Even in Kakamega, you saw exactly what happened. A peaceful gathering that essentially also had an incident of tear gas being lobbed just before the likes of Edwin Sifuna started those speeches. Can't you see, Shiyuka, and we're going to come and talk about what Rigathi Gachagua has also said, can't you see that somebody somewhere, and I don't want to say it's the president, doesn't want anything that is against the president to go wrong? Why can't we have these tear gases wherever the president goes? It's only when the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua go out and do these rallies. Is this pattern not clear? That when it comes to government rallies, nothing happens. No tear gas, no skirmishes. But when the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Babu Wino, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua try and hold these rallies, there has to be an incident. And it's the police who come out and say, we are the ones who did it and we are trying to protect you. People ask, from what? Is this not a pattern, Shiyuka?
Thank you so much, Mr. Simba. First, let me say that people should respect the rights of each other as enshrined in the Constitution. But as I've always said, if your right infringes on mine, then it ceases to be a freedom and a right, but an illegality. And the police have the mandate to safeguard property and life of people, to make sure that there's peace wherever there is any meeting or something like that. And if in the process of Sifuna and Babu having a meeting, and within the congregation, the people who attend there, we have got people with evil mind. They have started to loot people, they have started to do everything. Are you telling me the police should just be there, watch as people, loot property, do many things that are not supposed, that are against the law? I think we are going so beyond what we are supposed to go in accusing His Excellency the President. Because the police, they have the mandate and the right to safeguard property and the life of the people. So if we have elements in that meeting, and you cannot tell me that in such a large meeting, we only have angels and people who obey the law. Yes. We have good inside that. But if
the president also having bigger meetings than even the likes of Edwin Sifuna and Babu Wino, but we never see tear gas.
Now that I don't want to say anything against that, but maybe
why can't you say anything about the president's meetings? Because then your comparison should begin from there. That in our meetings, how is it, Shuka? Kenyans are watching.
In Kawangware.
Kenyans are watching you.
In Kawangware.
Yes.
In Kawangware.
Yes.
The president was having a tour last week in Kawangware.
Mm-hmm.
People, we had some elements who were trying to heckle the president in any political dispensation. And I want to advise my friend. Now he has boldly declared that he's now going into politics. Heckling, you are going to be a victim of heckling, because your opponent, you will have a meeting and your opponent will plan people to come and heckle you.
And that's all
Are
right.
you telling me
it
is not just an issue of His Excellency the President?
Yes.
It is an issue that must be addressed. Because, for example, me,
yes,
I'm a politician and I know these things. Maybe I have organized a meeting. And my opponent, because he does not want me to address my people,
yes,
he will plan his people to come and disrupt the meeting. and heckle me. Are you telling me that if the police are there, they should just look and say, okay, you are doing something that's not right? I think they have to take the responsibility to keep peace and stop that thing from happening.
And nobody's saying no. But is it not also okay that in your political gathering, Shiuka, you can actually organize people to go attend a political rally specifically for heckling your competitor? That's allowed within the Kenyan Constitution. That's it.
That's politics.
So how is it then that in all your meetings, Shiuka, that's the question that I still want to come back to before I cross over to Babu, that we never see it. We never see it. The president never has tear gas in his meetings. It was the first that I've seen. The one in Kangware right here. And we know why it happened. It's because guys wanted to come in and say hi to the president, and the president wanted to move. So the police had to come in and disperse them so that particular convoy could actually make its way to Dagoretti. That's only one, Shiuka. Only one incident.
You know, let me tell you.
Only one incident. Why does it not happen when the president actually is also doing his
You know, the police must be blamed for nothing. Because Sifuna and Babu do not have the capacity to control even their own crowd. That is in the hands of the police. Because Sifuna and Babu, they don't have the capacity to control their own crowds. So if we could infiltrate the peaceful meetings and start, destroying property and planning to harm people, are you telling me that the police should just stand and say, okay, we are here because now is Babu and Sifuna? No, they have to handle those goons that are within the people, trying to disrupt the meeting and maybe harm people and destroy property. So I think we should not apply this from selectively. Mm-hmm. Let's look at it from a point that the police have a right to maintain peace, law and order.
Yes.
And in the event that people are going to go against it, they have a right to act.
That's it.
In the best interest of the people and the nation.
That's it.
Yes.
Let me cross over to Babu this morning. Babu, you have this response. Look at what Babu Wino and Sifuna is saying you cannot tear gas democracy. We'll continue speaking to Kenyans. Babu Wino comes and says freedom of speech and assembly is not a favor from the government. It's a right guaranteed by the Constitution. Leave us alone. And they were speaking after 28-year-old lost his life in Kitengela because of the skirmishes that followed after tear gas was lobbed into that particular meeting. Question is, why don't we see tear gas in the president's meeting? Because he normally has these meetings every now and then, and they're bigger sometimes than even the ones for Babu Wino and Edwin Sifuna.
First, let me remind my brother that you cannot sit on a national TV and purport to say that Edwin Sifuna and Babu Wino cannot control their crowds. These are people who are elected in the capital city. And we know the kind of politics that happens in this town. Edwin Sifuna has, over time, grown his political visibility and his political acumen to a level that the conversation is now pushing is national. Actually, he has grown beyond county politics. That's somebody who can sort to go for Kasongo's seat if things get worse, and he can easily get it from him. So we cannot let it slide that he's saying that that's somebody you can say cannot control his crowd. Now, let me give you a practical example or a practical case study. My brother says that, I mean your question, why is it that President Ruto's rallies are not tear-gassed? And not only Sifuna and Babu's rallies are being tear-gassed, even our rallies.
Yes.
Where we go, even in churches, we are tear-gassed. The government is trying to sell fear. The government is working so hard to instill fear in Kenyans that whenever you see Babu Wino, whenever you see Edwin Sifuna, anytime you see Rigathi Gachagua, anytime you see Kalonzo Musyoka and the opposition teams, that is a danger zone. Don't go there. Get that? So the government is tear-gassing these rallies to instill fear in any other part of the country that we are likely to visit. So that when we show up, people do not show up in fear of their lives. that is a strategy that William Ruto and the people around him have mastered, and they are trying to put to work so that we fail, so that people don't show up. But unfortunately for them, anytime we show up, anytime Babu Owino faction shows up, Kenyans get out, because that is where the real conversation is. That is where their issues are being spoken. That is where their hope lives. So they show up to listen. But because the government do not expect them to show up, they instead organize for the tear gassing. I heard Ayub Savula, the deputy governor for Kakamega, saying that some of these rallies we tear gas ourselves. It's unfortunate, and it's a very reckless statement.
Yes.
How do you tear gas a rally that you also were part of it? Don't you think, are you not afraid of your life? Because there's no way, like the one you are tear gas in a church in Nyeri, Othaya, there is no way you can go into a church where children are, women are, old men and women are there, and then you tear gas yourself in that church. How about your life?
Yes.
So then, the government is using this strategy to instill fear in Kenyans. Recently here we saw tear gas in Kawangware in the president's rally. Why haven't we said that he was tear gassing himself to get sympathy? You know that? But one thing that I want to put clear to Kenyans, so that they observe and watch closely what the Kenya Kwanza regime is doing. If it's true that we in the opposition, we organize guns, and we organize bullets, and we organize police officers, and we organize police cars, and we organize tear gas to tear gas and attack ourselves, then Kenyans should be worried.
Yes.
With the Kenya Kwanza regime.
Yes.
If such level of ammunition can be in the hands of the opposition, then do Kenyans in Garissa sure about their lives? They are not. Northeastern, they cannot be sure about their lives. If the government is claiming that the opposition has got the powers and the ability to marshal all that ammunition, then people in the northern part of this country and all Kenyans are not guaranteed of their safety.
Yes.
So I want to make it clear, and my brother should take to his bosses, that this country where we are, people have woken up and people know exactly what they want, and they have identified who can deliver that, and they have mapped out who cannot deliver that.
Yes.
With that. And that's why the conversation, and I said, the conversation in this country today is not even about whether William Ruto will be a second-term president or not, because that one was already decided. It's about who else can come and clear the mess that William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza regime has put at him.
Pretty much. Let's look at some of the comments that are coming in this morning. Shiuka, this is directed to you. As I tell Shiuka that William Ruto is a coward using state machineries to intimidate alternative voices is barbarism. Time is coming, it won't arrest more than 10 million people who will vote him out. That's what George Sang is saying this morning. I'll read more. Siaya staff, this is Osea Ngoje, who's saying Siaya staff were arrested in Nairobi. For what reasons, and why do you link it to the coming of the president? Does it mean you have planned to do something wrong with them? That's some of the comments that are coming in on this particular conversation this morning. But then I would like to take you to another incident that Ken Babu is mentioned this morning. One Rigathi Gachagua. Him is not relentless on the issue that is President William Ruto was sending police to all his gatherings, even in church, to tear gas him because he knows he is going to sell the one-term movement. He's come out to say that. That's me summarizing his comments. Shiuka. The very many times since last year, and I'll count for you, it's around 4 times we've seen Rigathi Gachagua go to church and get tear gassed. Are we going to sit here and say that goons entered those churches, and so the best way for the police to remove those goons from these churches is to throw tear gas into these facilities of worship. We've seen kids get harmed by that tear gas. We've seen old people trying to scamper away from the police in these churches. Shiuka, we are all listening to you this morning. That goons entered not one church, but very many churches that Rigathi Gachagua has gone into, and the best way for the police then to stop harming the lives of the worshippers by these goons is to throw tear gas into these churches. How do you interpret that this morning? Because Rigathi Gachagua is also saying it is the president who doesn't want me to speak anything one term in the central part of the country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simba. Let me tell you one thing about politics. Politics has got so many faces. And for the person of the stature of His Excellency, the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua,
yes,
he has to consolidate his Mount Kenya base. And him being the politician that he is, he's using all the tricks in the book to make sure that he is consolidating. One of the rules that Rigathi Gachagua is using at the moment is stage managing those attacks to earn sympathy, so that he can really tell his people that, you see, now I'm being done this. What he's doing, that rule is in the book. It's in the book of the 48 laws of power. And that is what Rigathi Gachagua is applying. He's applying, he's stage managing some of those things to earn sympathy from his people, so that he can consolidate his base.
Yes.
Which is completely wrong.
Yes, and I'm sorry to cut you a little bit short on that. That in all the events that these churches have been tear gassed, the police have actually come in and spoken about it. The police have said, we are the ones. We were trying to protect the congregants and the people of that area from the skirmishes we so read were going to happen after the entry of Rigathi Gachagua. That it's not Rigathi Gachagua who's saying it, it's the police who are communicating. We've seen videos of it, the latest one in Nyeri. I mean, it's the police who locked that gate. There were police vehicles, Shiuka, that were used for that particular operation. How does that turn into a stage-managed event? Because it's the police that are throwing tear gas into those churches.
You know, Mr. Simba, His Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, is a Kenyan and is entitled for security like any other Kenyans.
That's it.
So when he planned for a meeting, the police have a responsibility as duty calls for them to make sure that his meetings are peaceful and nothing bad happens within to his people. But from the intelligence, and what I've said, told you, yes, because also Rigathi Gachagua has got his own personal security detail. So he plans some of these things. And when now what's come to the worst now, people run here and APCT. Now the security detail of the police have a responsibility to come in and quell whatever is happening. So that's what people don't know.
Yes.
So some of these things are stage managed, and the police, because they have a responsibility to maintain law and order.
Yes.
Then it reaches to that. So I think you have to also ask yourself, why only Rigathi Gachagua? Why only Rigathi Gachagua? Is he the only opposition person? Is he the only opposition leader that has meetings? Why not Eugene Wamalwa? Why not Kalonzo Musyoka? At that sequence?
Yes.
At that sequence?
Yes.
Why not at the sequence of Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and the rest? Why only Rigathi Gachagua?
That's it.
That's the question.
Sifuna is also complaining about the same thing.
Sifuna, let me tell you, and this one I'll quote the senator for Kakamega County.
Yes.
He said, and I quote, that the person who threw the tear gas in Kakamega is well known to him, and he was sent by the organizers to stage manage that the government was against the rally. And that's why you saw it was only made one tear gas. We didn't have so many tear gas. So if I paraphrase Senator Halwale, he said that the throwing of tear gas at the Kakamega rally, Sifuna rally in Kakamega, was stage managed. And the person who threw the tear gas, yes, was not a policeman. He's a person who is known to the governor. himself. I'm quoting Honorable Dr. Poni Khalwale.
Pretty much.
That is why I'm telling you, some of these things are stage managed.
So let me ask you, if the person who threw the tear gas is known to the governor?
To the senator.
The governor of Kakamega is?
No, to the senator. To the senator.
Saying to the senator.
Okay,
that is,
I said to the senator.
My brother has brought up...
yes, not the governor, the senator.
My brother has
Dr. Poni Khalwale.
I'm
quoting him in public.
He has brought up a question, a concern. That why is it that it's only regarding Gachagwa's meetings that are being tear gassed, not Eugene Wamalwa or Kalonzo Musyoka? Or... Let me tell you, my brother, I've been around for a long time, and I would say that I can now understand the government psychology. The day Rigathi Gachagua was tear gassed in a church in Othaya, and actually bullets were also unleashed.
Yes.
Eugene Wamalwa was in Western, in a different church meeting as well. Kalonzo Musyoka was in a different church meeting. Matiang'i was in a different church gathering. Why specifically Rigathi Gachagua and in Othaya at his backyard? Reason, the government wanted to put up a scenario and paint a picture of a violent man in Rigathi Gachagua. And it was strategic for the government to do that in Othaya to make it look like he is not accepted in his own backyard and is forcing issues and causing chaos in his backyard, which is not the truth, and it flopped. Let me tell you, the government has marked Rigathi Gachagua as one of the most lethal opposition figures in this country today, in the absence of Raila Odinga. And the government will do anything possible within their powers to try bring him down. Unfortunately for them, Rigathi Gachagua has entrenched himself to the people who are the final decision makers. He has entrenched himself to the citizens who are the custodians of the pain, atrocities, and mismanagement that is being caused by Kenya Kwanza regime. And that's why the government has been so much committed to try cause chaos wherever he is, so that they paint him as a chaotic man and paint him as a man of violence. But who are Kenyans? Kenyans are well educated, Kenyans are exposed today, Kenyans are smart, and they can easily tell this one is from the other side. This one is from the other side. Let me ask you, when we went to Kakamega, when we were doing our Western tours, and we reached somewhere called Chwele, we were attacked by pangas, jembes, stones. We were tear gassed, and some people even got serious injuries. In that trail, campaign trail, we had all the principals, including the Western kingpins, were there. And these were well organized by the regional leaders who are in broad-based government, who felt that if they do not do that, their loyalty to the presidency shall have not been felt. So over time, all these attacks that we are facing in the opposition, these are things that are organized within the government setups to try to paint us to Kenyans that we are not the choice, that we are violent people, we are lords of chaos. And like I said earlier on, these are being done to sell fears and infuse fear in Kenyans, so that anytime we show up, they are afraid of turning. Anytime we show up, they are afraid of coming because they fear for their lives. But I want to make it, and I want to give Kenyans hope. And I want to tell Kenya Kwanza regime that Kenyans are awoken. Kenyans are seen. Kenyans know where the truth is. And the mood in the country today, the mood is one term.
Pretty much. Gentlemen, I've got direct questions to you then this morning. Just as we get close to ending our conversation this morning, I've got this one from Bodnyalego. And this is what they're saying. Chiuka, let the truth be known. What we have seen in the country, we've seen it before. Let me remind you, during the Gen Z protests in the country, this is exactly what we saw. Any other person who went online and said anything negative about the president, said anything negative, said how we should organize our protest, was either abducted and arrested just to quieten this talk about protest in the country. How different is this from what we saw?
And unless, you know, I don't want just to respond on those allegations, I'll take it as allegations, unless she has proof to show that this is what happens.
Yes.
Because when people are abducted, how do you say that this is the government? Because we have got goons, we have got people in this, we have got party intentions. So unless you have proof and you have evidence that this is the government that has done this.
Simba, you see, you make decisions based on the sequence of events. Sometimes you make decisions based on the sequence of how these things have been happening over time. And who is the common factor in all the events. Then at the end of the day, you just say, okay, I think this guy is responsible. Let me take you back. In from 2013, when TNA, that was TNA URP,
that's it,
took power. Around 2014, 2015, there were demonstrations. Still high cost of living by Raila Odinga, and we were there. We were tear gassed, some were abducted, some were bitterly arrested, some were beaten badly, some even disappeared. Progressively, after 2017 elections, Jubilee, in 2018, high cost of living, we were beaten, we were arrested, some were abducted, some disappeared. 2023, just shortly before Gen Z happened, Raila Odinga in Kawangware, people were beaten, people were disappeared, people were abducted, people were arrested arbitrarily. Then Gen Z happened. Same things were happening.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes.
Now, in 2013, 2017, William Ruto was the deputy president. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president.
Yes.
We could have said that the president that at that time was the one conducting all this. Okay. In 2017-2022, president was Uhuru Kenyatta. William was the deputy. Well, we would have said that the president is the one doing all these things. But in 2022-2024, Uhuru Kenyatta was not in the space. William Ruto, who was the deputy president then, is now the president.
That's it.
But the sequence is similar. The things that were happening in 13 to 2022 are still happening in 2023, 2024. Honestly, even if you are too blind to see, and you are given an opportunity to make judgment and make a decision on that, who would you put your X on?
Yes.
Your answer is as mine. And that's why it is easy for any Kenyan to say that all these abductions and atrocities that have happened between 2023 up to now are all directed at the president.
Yes.
After all, we cannot go and pin down Kipchumba Murkomen as the interior CS. He is an employee of the president. So if you want to deal with these issues, we deal with the boss.
That's it.
All powers starts and stops with the president in terms of the executive orders. In 2024, Kithure Kindiki was not the vice president. He was not the deputy president.
Yes.
He was the interior CS. And that's why we keep saying that if William Samoei Ruto, the president, was to take any blame, Kithure Kindiki equally takes the same blame. Because if it was the orders from the president to the interior CS, who was the interior CS then? If today we open books in courts and the court wants to hear the contribution of the interior CS then, who will be in the courts? The deputy president today. Hear that? So the buck stops with the presidency. William Samoei Ruto is the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya.
That's it.
And he was the deputy president at that time. And there's no difference of things that were happening that time and the things that have been happening until the time that the bodyguards of Orengo were arrested.
Yes.
Same scenarios.
That's it.
So it is in good faith, it is safe for any Kenyan to say that Your Excellency the President,
yes,
tell us more.
That's it. Here's the thing, but just as you get ready to respond to that, this is Dan Kasina who's saying the president must be respected, Bwana, regardless. Shioka, you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Under what ground do we agree?
I also agree, but I also agree, but remember,
yeah,
remember,
you know, he has the mandate of the people.
Remember,
when you have the mandate of the people.
Remember, Simba.
Yes.
The president is an holder of a constitutional office.
That's it.
We respect that office.
That's it.
Fully. But we have an issue with the occupant.
But is it?
Let me land.
Is it not the office that the president? That the presidency is what we should be looking at.
What I'm saying,
yes,
we respect the presidency.
That's it.
The office of the president.
Can you remove Ruto from presidency? You can't.
You cannot. I'm coming there.
We
respect the office of the president, but the occupant of that office must act as per the expectation of that office. If he or she fails to, we relinquish the respect from him. So we have an issue with the occupant of that office.
That's it.
If today you are the president and you are acting as per the constitutional dictation,
yes,
we won't have issues with you. Yes. Kenyans, if you are careful, Kenyans do not have issues with the person who will occupy that office.
Yes.
Let me tell
Kenyans
you
have got issues with the man of the president.
With my friend, because so long as we have an occupant in the office of the president, that person has the mandate of the people and he must be respected.
And it is those people that are now disrespecting him.
If Kenyans feel that they don't want to respect him, they have the mandate to remove him on the ballot. But as long as he's in the office with the mandate of the people, and we got this power through the ballot, he must be respected.
Is heckling? If I heckle you today, does that mean that I don't respect you?
No.
Wait, you're saying that if I heckle you today, I disrespect you?
You are exercising your democratic right.
Yes.
So I cannot say that you are disrespecting me.
Yes.
You are exercising your democratic right. That's how you are going to exercise your democratic right.
Yes.
Because you can either heckle me or you can prepare a memorandum and bring in my office of the president.
Simba.
So long as you don't destroy property and plan to kill people, heckling to me it is an exercise in your freedoms.
That's it.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Very right. That the president is in office courtesy of the people.
Yes.
He holds that power on behalf of the people.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
And therefore the people should respect the
president.
But now, the same people he holds the power on their behalf are disagreeing with how he is using the power they bestowed upon him.
How are they disagreeing?
Hold on.
The process.
Hold on.
Let's go to the process.
Hold on.
Yes.
See the problem with broad-based?
No, the process.
The problem with broad-based.
Because you have to disagree to
that's
the process.
Why they cannot. That's why they
disagree.
Let me land.
Let me tell you. Let me disagree is through the ballot. You get me? But why is also given the seal of approval through the ballot? He's supposed to be respected.
Let me land.
You see, yes. I'm going to give you a right of response.
Yes.
We actually have 5 minutes.
Yes. Disagreement through the ballot is a process.
It's a process.
You cannot disagree instantly at the ballot.
That's the legal process.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
No, that's the legal process.
I'm trying to add more flesh to your point so that your boss can see you are serious. But you are now heckling.
No, I'm not heckling.
Now, the disagreement at the ballot is a process. And if you look at between 2022 up to now, the process that we have gone through is it communicates total disagreement with the presidency.
Yes.
And that is what shall be actualized at the ballot in 2027 by actualizing one term. Now, Kenyans bestowed their powers, sovereign powers, to William Ruto as a president. But the same time Kenyans have looked at him twice through the lenses of realities of life, and they are saying, no, guy, you're not going the right direction. We did not assign you the responsibility to take us to this direction. But you've decided now to make your own decisions. At that point, we are alighting from this bus, and Kenyans alighted from that bus. And that's why the mood on the ground,
How do you measure the mood?
The mood
That's
on the ground, my brother, is one term.
How do you measure the mood? I'm different with my brother here.
Yes.
Because he's saying the mood is one term.
Yes.
I ask him, how are you measuring the mood? I tell him the mood is 2 term because of the endorsement and the by-election.
Yes.
Kenyans are giving UTA and the president.
That's it.
They have been voting UTA overwhelmingly.
That's it.
And that's the mood.
That's
how I'm measuring the mood. Not just saying words,
Yes.
but that is the fact.
That's it.
That Kenyans have given His Excellency the President and UTA party, this government, a seal of approval and an endorsement.
That's it. I'm going to give you 1 minute each then to close this conversation this morning. I'm going to start with you, Shiuka, on the same energy that you are on this particular point. I mean, both sides would seem to have a point that it's not in good taste that we have people getting arrested wherever the president is going. Do you agree that this issue probably could have been handled differently by the police intelligence, or this, as it stands, should continue in the president's gatherings?
What I'll say it like this.
Yes.
That Kenyans should behave in a way that gives them the freedom. But they should also bear in mind that in exercising their freedom,
yes, they
should not infringe on the freedoms of other people. And the police have a responsibility to make sure that there is peace in the country and in any meetings.
Yes.
So in the process of them discharging their mandate, they should not be misconstrued that they're hurting the people.
Pretty much.
So Kenyans, I call upon them as they go on exercising the constitutional freedoms that is done in the Constitution, they should not step on the freedoms of other people.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Ken Babu, should this continue, this arbitrary arrest that we've seen in Siaya County, and should have the government handled it differently?
Thank you so much, Simba, and I want to thank Look Up TV for giving us the opportunity to talk to Kenyans and, of course, give me an opportunity to talk to Nairobians.
That's it.
And express my bid. I want to tell Nairobians that the biggest challenge we are having in this country, in this county today, is poor governance and mismanagement of county allocated resources. Nairobi receives a lot of funds in billions and collects a reasonable tax from the county residents. And I want to tell Nairobians that what we need is proper accountability. And what we need is proper mechanisms to ensure that resources that are within this county are used for the good purposes that they should be, that will benefit the Nairobians. And on that note, I'll be offering myself for the position of Senator, Nairobi County, to stand in between the gap of accountability and proper usage of our resources. And that is something that I believe that needs to be done urgently. And I want to call upon young people to not only register as voters and also offer yourself at the ballot.
That's it.
Give your fellow young people an opportunity to go and cast vote for their colleagues and their generation as well. This country needs a renaissance, and this country needs a reevaluation of the direction that we are going to take. And finally, the president and the Kenya regime must understand that heckling is not out of the law, and people only heckle when they are not satisfied with the way things are happening. And on that note, I want to remind the regime that until we do the right thing, people are going to keep heckling, and that heckle will be taken to the ballot, and they will heckle against you guys at the ballot.
Pretty much. Oof. That's it. Guess what? I'll call them again, because these things, they keep on appearing, and probably, been speaking to a couple of my friends from Siaya County who are telling me maybe the county is thinking of going to court so they can process the facts behind their arrests. Once that case develops, if it's going to develop, I'll call them back again so that we can lay bare those facts right here at Look Up TV. Gentlemen, always a pleasure hosting you too, right here. Take them back online to the time that you joined us this morning at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiaga Simba. See you tomorrow for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our program.